About Time with Rashawn's About Time Boxing, aka Mr. Trill 100 Mil. What's up to my About Time Boxing family and the Trill 100 Mil gang? Thank you to every single one of y'all who has subscribed to the channel, who has been taking out the time to watch the videos, like the videos, share the videos, and leave the comments. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. If you have not already subscribed to the channel and you are watching this video or any of my videos for the first time, please subscribe to the channel. Encourage others to subscribe to the channel. Pass the word about Rashawn's About Time Boxing. And don't forget to hit that notification button to stay up on the latest with Rashawn's About Time Boxing. Quick shout out, real quick shout out to New Media. Shout out to Champ Side. My guy Rebel Life Boxing and my guy Mark Nash, Hustlers Home, and all the New Media, YouTube boxing channel, Dante's Boxing Nation, Aki TV, everybody, for dropping that, for giving up those real facts. Real quick, it will be a part 3 to the Shakur Stevenson Lomachenko thing. I see all the Lomachenko fans. They are extremely pissed at me, and for that one idiot who said that Lomachenko made Shakur Stevenson quit in sparring, you need to go back and check your facts, bruh. Okay, never happened. Okay, and everybody else who was there who witnessed it said Shakur was giving Loma that work. So do your research. All right. So it's no secret now. That Terence Crawford is suing Top Rank and Bob Arum for the sum of around $10 million, because Terence Crawford, and I'm not going to say alleged, because Bob Arum did do this, with the way that they do treat black fighters, his racial bias and all that type of stuff. It did hinder Terence Crawford from getting big fights. Terence Crawford is 34 years old. You know what I'm saying? He's 38-0 with 29 knockouts. He turned pro in 08. And I remember that. He fought somebody named Brian Cummings and stopped him, knocked him out in the first round because he turned pro in March 14th, which was my birthday, 2008. So, So Terence Crawford filed a lawsuit in the 8th District Court in the state of Nevada, and he alleged that Bob Arum hindered him from getting big fights, like I said before, and he did, because he promised Terence Crawford. Now for those of y'all who who keeping up with it, and y'all know what I'm talking about. When Terence Crawford was fighting at 140 pounds, when he became a champion, and he started, because now you got a lot of people who saying Terence Crawford ain't fighting nobody. He ain't really fighting nobody. Listen, Terence Crawford has a pretty good resume. I don't know why people are saying he never fought anybody, and I don't understand how people can say Terence Crawford never fought anybody, but once again they praise his ex-stablemate Lomachenko, and they say that, and I'm telling you, this is a problem for me. They keep saying how great Lomachenko is. Lomachenko was 18-2 with 11 knockouts. Terence Crawford is 38-0 with 29 knockouts. He's fought John Molina Jr., he's fought Hank Lundy, he fought Kavaliauskas, he fought Thomas Delorme, he fought Jose Benavidez Jr., who is David Benavidez's brother. He fought Kell Brook, he fought Victor Postal, he fought Amir Khan, he stopped Sean Porter, he fought Jeff Horn, who beat Manny Pacquiao, and people are still saying that that his resume doesn't show anything, but Lomachenko's resume does. Y'all don't see the problem with that? And then I talked about Cameron Duncan, who was Jaron Ennis's Ennis. He's Geronda Ennis. Sorry about that. He's Geronda Ennis, promoter. And there was an interview that was out about how Top Rank got this NBF thing. And I'm not the only one who spoke about this. Aki TV spoke about it. Dante's Boxing Nation spoke about it. I believe Champside spoke about it. Boxing Ego, shout out to Boxing Ego, he spoke about it. So I don't understand why people, they call me a racist and talking about, oh, you don't know what you talking about, this, this, that, and the third. I do my research. Cameron Duncan was one of the top, if not the top matchmaker over there at Top Rank, and guided the career of over 30 world champions. And Bob Arum was promising Terence Crawford that Pacquiao fight. Oh yeah, you're gonna fight. Yeah, I'm gonna get you the Pacquiao fight. And there's been interviews where Bob Arum even said it. Yeah, he's gonna get the Pacquiao fight. Blah 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 blah. But he never had any intentions on trying to secure big fights. And then everybody try to go at Al Heyman and try to make it seem like it's Al Heyman's fault that Terence Crawford and Errol Spence, hasn't fought. But I'm gonna tell you, I support Terence Crawford lawsuit against Top Rank, and I believe he's gonna win. And honestly, he should have sued them for more than $10 million. But I think Terence Crawford is being, because he's an honest guy. So he's just like, listen, I'm going for, what I feel like, I deserve. And listen, there's a lot of people who had problems with Bob Arum. Floyd Mayweather. I know a lot of y'all can't stand Floyd, but Floyd told the truth. And Bob Arum was one of the guys who said that Floyd wasn't marketable. Okay? And said that, basically talked about, he liked to shoot guns outside the ring. Basically saying he's just, a thug. Like he, you know what I mean? And what he do in the ring, is not crowd pleasing. But Oscar De La Hoya had to take him to court to get out his contract. Mikey Garcia had to fight with him. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. There's a lot of people having problems with this man. So it's everybody else, and it's not Top Rank, Bob Arum, and Todd DeBuff. It's not them. And even before I started my YouTube channel, I had conversations with people, and I was saying, Bob Arum don't care about. Bob Arum doesn't care about marketing or promoting the black fighters the way that he do everybody else. Look at how he promotes Lomachenko. See, this is why Shakur Stevenson probably would never get that fight against Lomachenko. And Terence Crawford tried to warn Shakur. Well, he warned Shakur Stevenson, like, I'm telling you, but I'm not gonna get you them fights, man. Them fights that you want, you're not gonna get them. That's why you probably won't see Shakur fight Oscar Valdez. And this is probably why, the only way you'll probably see Lomachenko and Devin Haney fight is if Kambosos keep his word and fight Devin Haney, and Devin Haney get those belts. Then we gonna see if Lomachenko gonna want to fight Devin Haney. But Bob Arum stared. That's why Lomachenko chose to just vacate the belt and give it to Devin Haney. Because Bob Arum said, nope, that NBF thing, no black fighters. And he keeps certain fighters away from him. And I'm going to play some audio where an interview was done. And they're speaking about the NBF thing, the no black fighters. And now at the end of the audio, the guy says, respectfully, but I mean, you could beg to differ or make your own judgment on that. So we're gonna hop into this audio and listen to this response to the No Black Fighters, the NBF thing at Top Rank?
That's a theory there by the greatest matchmaker, probably, in my opinion, ever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to mention his name either, but you know what I'm talking about.
Greatest matchmaker.
And
Cameron
he used to
Duncan.
have a thing up on his board, NBF, No Black Fighters.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was taught to bring up a fighter, you know, and again, it's just, he used to say to me, you can go anywhere in the country, and I'm going to leave it at this. I don't want to go into a long discussion because people are people in God's eyes, and we're all the same. He used to say to me, you can go anywhere into a city in America or anywhere in the world and ask a white guy, and he didn't say any other, he didn't say anything about Hispanic, and ask a white guy to throw a jab, and half of them are going to turn backwards and throw it like a girl and everything. Ask any black man on a street corner in any city in the world, and they will snap out a jab in a heartbeat. And I used to laugh. He said, they're just more physically gifted. And he said, and so they have speed and better to stay away from. Nothing personal. So I said, okay. And I've lived by that. And, you know, I don't want to sound like some weird guy, but, you know, you're trying to be safe with your guys. And so, yeah, there is a thing about that, you know, but not in a bad way, in a very...
So y'all just heard it. They have a board in their offices that says NBF. And by the way, it's no secret that that Bob Arum is has made racist remarks. Now he claims that he's not, but even if he's a racist in boxing, you have to deal with you're gonna have to deal with black people anyway, because you have all different types of, you know, races and you know and ethnicities and things of that nature. You have all types of races in the sport of boxing. So, you know, you can't, you know, so races are not. The bottom line is he's gonna have to deal with he got to deal with black people anyway. Period. Whether he wants to or not. But during slavery, the slave masters, you know, had black people cooking their food and doing all their work and all that. So, you know, and Bob Arum, when he promoted, you know, like Muhammad Ali, at the height of apartheid in South Africa, Bob Arum made money promoting fights over there, and he didn't care. With all of the killing and stuff that was going on, he just said, you know, he didn't care. You know, he just said it was politics. But as long as he could make money, he didn't care. And that was a fact. You know what I mean? So, you know, and I talked about, you know, him talking about Floyd, you know, matter of fact, in '09, he said Floyd, you know, is a thug, and said, you know, he's not an entertaining fighter. And there's a lot of people out there that's going to argue about that and say Floyd is not an entertaining fighter. But guess what? Who has beaten out Floyd Mayweather's pay-per-views to date? No one. No one. And he raised the bar every time he stepped in that ring. And so Terence Crawford has Brian Friedman. That's who's representing him in this case. Okay? So basically, Bob Arum made a statement saying that he lost millions of dollars on Terence Crawford. And everybody know about this famous statement he made. He could have had a house in Beverly Hills built, you know, from the ground up on the money that he lost. You know, promoting and or trying to promote Terence Crawford. But it's funny that Bob Arum and Top Rank, they didn't have a problem with telling ESPN how great of a fighter Terence Crawford was, you know, in order to secure a contract with ESPN, which is worth tens of millions of dollars. They didn't have no problem with telling ESPN, oh, he's a great fighter, he's this, that, and the third, to secure a contract. But this is why Bob Arum is called the promoter. That's your job, to promote. That's your job, to promote. He did a lot of promoting when Lomachenko fought what's the guy from the UK? Luke Campbell. When Lomachenko fought Luke Campbell, he did a lot of promoting before and after the fight. The UK got the greatest boxing fans in the world, and we're going to bring boxing back here, and we're going to make a ton of money now. With Terence Crawford trying to get the fight with Errol Spence, he's saying he couldn't make the fight. First he said it was because of Al Heyman. Then he said because Terence Crawford and Errol Spence wanted too much money. They wanted like 9 or 10 million apiece. Dude, they're worth that. If I could promote that fight and pay them that money, I would. They're worth that money. They are worth $9 to $10 million, 12 million easy. He only got $6 million when he fought Sean Porter. And who knows if he got anything from the pay-per-view upside and the gate and everything else. He's supposed to. But to say that you couldn't promote the fight because they wanted too much money, what are you talking about? Those are two of the top guys in the welterweight division. Two of the top guys in boxing, period. And the money that would come in from those two guys. See, Bob Arum got this thing too. And there's a lot of other people who did videos about this, and there's other fighters who was promoted by him, and tell you Bob Arum wants to control the whole thing. And if he can't control it all, he don't want to be bothered. And he can't do that with Al Heyman. Al Heyman ain't gonna let him control everything. And the only reason he was able to, co-promote with Don King, because him and Don King, like Don King is just as big as a crook as he is. That's why, you don't hear nothing about Don King. You don't hear too much about him now. But you had a lot of other, you had Murad Muhammad, you had Butch Lewis, you had Don King, who else? There was Gary Shaw. Like, all these people are pretty much like just boom, phased out. So now it's just Al Heyman and Bob Arum. And Al Heyman, got most of the fighters. And Bob Arum don't like that, because Al Heyman believes in paying the fighters, getting the fighters paid, when Bob Arum believes in ripping the fighters off. And if you claim you lost so much money, why did y'all offer him a contract extension? Which, by the way, I feel like Terence Crawford should not have re-signed that 3-year contract extension. But him being an honest, loyal guy, trying to show that he was loyal, and he thought that loyalty would pay off. And it came back to bite him in his ass. That's the only mistake that he made, was signing that contract extension. He should have never signed that contract extension with them. And I don't know no promoter who's going to keep a fighter. And by the way, after the Sean Porter fight, when Terence Crawford announced that he was leaving, trust me, Bob Arum, listen, if they lost so much money on him, if Terence Crawford wanted to re-sign with them, guess what? They would have re-signed. They would have re-signed him if he would have said, no, I'm going to stay with Top Rank. They would have re-signed him. What promoter is going to want to keep a fighter that you're losing money on promoting? He wasn't losing no money on promoting Terence Crawford. He just wasn't promoting him. And when he was promoting him, he wasn't promoting him the right way. And he's saying, oh, he got to be able to sell himself. He was selling himself. Every time he stepped in that ring and knocked somebody out, he's selling himself, showing why he deserved to get paid. Him having that O on his record is showing why he deserved to get paid. Him having 29 knockouts is showing why he should be able to get those big fights. Him being undisputed at 140 shows why he should be able to get those big fights. Him being a WBO welterweight champion right now shows why he should be able to get those big fights. That's what it shows. He has sold himself. The problem with you, 90-year-old Bob, who need to go on a sawmill and go sit your ass down somewhere, you don't know how to promote him. You don't. And the crazy thing about it is, Bob Arum has a well-documented history of favoring like whites and Latino fighters. And I'm not saying I got something against, white or Latino fighters. No, I don't. There's a lot of Latino fighters and stuff, different fighters that I like. Okay? So so for anybody try to start dropping them dumbass comments, don't even do it. But Bob Arum has a documented history, and if y'all listen to the audio that I played where he talking about the NBF thing, then y'all know what I'm talking about. And Top Rank don't have no black executives. Not one. I think they might got maybe only 3 black employees in the entire company. Ask him why. Ask him why. So, for Terence Crawford to have this lawsuit against Bob Arum and wanting to sue him, I'm glad, and I hope that honestly, I hope that they award him more money than that. Cause see, listen, now let's be real. Let's be real about this. Bob Arum ain't no dummy, okay? So let's not get this twisted. This man's not stupid, not by a long shot. Bob Arum got a history of working as he had a history of working as a lawyer. He attended Harvard Law School. He was an attorney for the U.S. Department of Justice, and he worked with a few high profile law firms. So he's not dumb. He's not dumb. And the way he got into promoting fights was a situation, I don't know, I can't recall exactly what it was, but it was a situation with a promoter and or a fighter in boxing, a fighter with a promoter or something like that. And that's how he got into it. And then he actually credited Muhammad Ali for teaching him the game of how to promote and put all that stuff together. Yeah, well, if he credit Muhammad Ali for that, then how he gonna be a racist? Look at all the cotton that black people picked during slavery. It's well documented. History is undeniable because it's there. It's a fact. Okay? And he made plenty of money with Muhammad Ali. But even when Muhammad Ali was an active fighter, he was the type of guy that wouldn't let people get over. If he worked with you, he gave you an opportunity. It was a business opportunity for him too. He worked with Don King. Don King was a crook. Bob Arum was a crook. But when he started promoting Muhammad Ali, remember, it was a time that's when Ali was going through that whole legal thing. And they took his license from him and stuff. So Bob Arum was trying to find a state that would license him to fight, so Muhammad Ali could, could fight, because Muhammad Ali still, face it, he still was basically the, one of the biggest, if not the biggest star in boxing back then. And people still was going to pay. And Bob Arum knew that. People still wanted to see this controversial man step in that ring and fight. So, y'all let me know what y'all think about this lawsuit with Terence Crawford and Bob Arum. And I know a lot of other people did videos and stuff about that, but But I want to know y'all thoughts. And for the people who want to leave some negative, stupid ass comments, go right on ahead. Because even Dana White said to Bob Arum, he's a piece of shit. Pay your fighters. But, you know, in that case, Dana White can't talk either, because, you know, people say Dana White do the same thing to his fighters. So, but, you know, Dana White said he called him he said Bob Arum was basically a piece of shit. But once again, like I said, I don't know no promoter who wants to keep signing or keep a fighter. And see, this is why Bob Arum signed a lot of fighters to these long-term contracts. 6, 7 years, 8 years, you know, because, and see, in the past, a lot of them were scared to speak out, and they were scared to speak out of fear of being shelved. Miguel Cotto even had a situation. Even Miguel Cotto had a problem with Top Rank. And if I'm not mistaken, when he fought Pacquiao, that was a fight that Bob Arum basically forced. And during that time, as a matter of fact, you know, Bob Arum wouldn't let his fighters fight. No, they wouldn't fight none of Al Haymon's fighters. All his fighters were fighting each other. It was an unstable thing. All of the Top Rank fighters were fighting each other. He wouldn't let them fight. He wouldn't let them fight anybody else. And if I remember correctly, I could be wrong, and if anybody else remember, please drop the comment in the comment section below. But at that time, Miguel Cotto fought Manny Pacquiao. Cotto didn't want to take that fight. He forced Cotto to starch his body to make weight for that fight, and told Miguel Cotto if he didn't take that fight, that he would shelf him and he would never box again. That's why when Miguel Cotto's contract was up, he got out of there, just like everybody else, i.e. Floyd Mayweather, Oscar De La Hoya, Mikey Garcia, Terence Crawford. Okay, so like I said, I know this video is a little long, but I felt like it needed this type of attention. So drop the comments in the comment section below and let me know what y'all think. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification button to stay up on the latest with Rashawn's Bout Time Boxing. We are on to the next.